like this store? Like, what was kind of like the inspiration behind it?
Yeah. My wife and I met working in a bookstore in California a long time ago, and we always thought, oh, if we had the chance, we could run a bookstore pretty well together. But we didn't really think it would happen. But we love books. We think bookstores are important. And 5.5 years ago, we found out that the store that was here previously was about to close, unless the owner found a buyer very quickly. And so we kind of, when we heard that, we didn't say anything right away. It was like a sort of a jinx moment. And we walked outside, and eventually we turned to each other and said, at the same time, what if we're the right buyers? And I was at a kind of turning point in my life at that moment where I was wanting to get out of graduate school, but I wasn't sure what to do, and this was the perfect opportunity at the perfect time, so we jumped on it.
Awesome. So I know most of the books in here are used.
Most of them, yes.
Yes. So what was there kind of like a something behind that, like you wanted to do like more used books than like newer books compared to like other stores? Like,
yeah.
What was kind of like?
It was already a used bookstore.
Oh,
so,
okay.
And then it's a lot easier to start a used bookstore than a new bookstore. It requires much less cash. If you're starting a new bookstore, all those books cost a lot more money. You're setting up accounts with major publishers and distributors, and it's a lot of, there's a lot of financial stuff involved. Where here is you still have to buy the books, but they cost a lot less. And so the store was about half full when we opened. As the owner had been thinking she was going to close, so had been selling down the stock and not buying more. And so one of the things we did was we had a Indiegogo campaign online to do a little fundraiser, and part of that was for money for more books. And so and at first we were thinking, oh, how will we fill the shop? And we quickly found that wasn't going to be a problem at all. Between the book sales around town and people bringing in books, there was never any lack of content for us.
Gotcha. Oh, that's awesome. So how long has Yellow Dog been in Columbia?
5.5 years now.
5.5
as Yellow Dog, yeah.
Okay. And in that 5.5 years, I personally always see it on people's like Instagram and Snapchat stories. So how do you stay like connected with like the students at the school, and like how do you still reach out to like our like my demographic?
Right. And that's a tricky thing because there's turnover there. You know, someone who discovered us as a freshman when we opened is gone now. They're out of town. So we have to keep connecting with the new students. One thing we do is support both the Maneater and Vox and the Missourian with advertising here and there. Like, we can't do ads in every issue, but we do several throughout the year and try to get our name there. We always try to get the back to school issues at the start of the year, when I think students are more likely to be reading the paper. Like, oh, what's going on with my new school here? So that's one way. And just trying to be present on 9th Street here. I know a lot of students don't make it into town right away. It takes a while, but we try to stay visible and have enough inroads that they're going to find us. That's the thing we are always thinking about, is how can we get more connection to the students and help them find us.
So do you find that the like window displays, because I always know I notice them.
Yes.
Do you think those like are kind of like right now the Technicolor display you guys have going on right now? It's like very eye catching. Do you think that has something to do with like why a lot of like maybe students want to come in, or like why is that like a like what like inspired that like for you guys?
Well, I think they certainly do help people find us. My wife is behind a lot of the window displays, and even if she's not making a particular window, like this was done by an artist who is a friend of ours. It's her vision that instead of being sort of more conventional Just, lots of books in the window, and we put books in the window, but we want them to be the window to be basically a rotating art installation.
Oh, I love
And
that.
that's been our vision from the beginning. So most of our windows have been built by artists, or they've been crafted in some way to have a certain look and to be very eye catching, and not necessarily just books on shelves or something, which
Yeah.
can work too. But we wanted something different for our shop. I think that really has helped. Some of the things people come in just to say, I had to find out more about this piece in the window. What is it? What's going on? Who made it? What does it look like from the other side?
Yeah.
How can I get a closer look? So they've been very successful overall, I think.
I agree too. They're really cool. I love them. So when you get new books for the store, or find new used ones, I
Right.
guess, what do you look for your customer for here? Like, is there a certain thing you're like, you see a book and you're like, oh, that would be
Yeah.
perfect for our customers?
Yeah. Let's see. Well, since we're very small, I have to be really careful about what comes in, because I just don't have a lot of space for a lot of things, and so I don't do romance novels at all. I don't do thrillers at all. We're on a very, very small scale and only for a la carte. So what I do want to get is something that I think is very interesting to read. That's a good book. We have a really nice literature and contemporary fiction section, and there I'm looking specifically for stuff that's literary, that's well done. Our sci-fi fantasy section too. I'm looking for the classics, and not only things that are popular now, but a really deep backlist. So we have Asimov, we have Burroughs, we have Philip K. Dick, Ursula Le Guin, a lot of people that you won't necessarily find in a new bookstore. Even in a Barnes & Noble, you aren't going to get the same depth of backlist that we have here.
Yeah.
Our goal was to be a place for students and community people to come together and find good stuff, and for that exchange of books to go back and forth, because older readers don't have as much need for the classics. They've read them already, so if we get books from them, I get to then pass them on to students who haven't read them yet and are wanting to find out what those things are all about.
Awesome. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Last question. Is there anything you wish to add that you want my J2100 class to know about Yellow Dog?
I don't know. I would say it's again, when we first opened, and we're trying to get our name out there, one of our friends, who is a graduate school colleague of mine, said, wouldn't it be cool if college students hung out in bookstores instead of bars? And that was, I just thought that was wonderful, and it again reminded me of my college experience when we weren't there solely to get jobs. We were there to learn and get an education and expand our minds, expand our worldviews. And I think that's one thing we can offer to students, is it's a great place to come in and read things you haven't read before, to find worldviews you're not familiar with, to read literature from all over the world, and really, along with the great library on campus, to function as an extra part of your education outside of your classes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And